Jackie seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I need to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Mark, you want to lead us today?
You're doing good so far.
All right. And then I need a moment of silence for all of those who are serving and who have served. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Will the district clerk please call the roll?
Yes, we have Mrs. Panico,
Here.
Mr. Washaw.
Yeah.
Mrs. Napolitano Furno.
Here.
We have Mrs. Mylan Augulus on via Zoom,
Present.
and Mrs. Kennedy also via Zoom.
Present.
Dr. Linda Adams, present. Mr. Dean Middleman,
Present.
Miss Bridget Villarreal, present. Mr. Reza Kolahifar,
Present.
Mrs. Lisa Hutchinson, present, and myself, Jessie Kemp, the district clerk.
Okay. Before I do the internet.
I did, so
That's-
amendment of 5.
5I.
5I.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have some changes to the meeting agenda. The changes made to the personnel matters. Schedule 2, 1B has been removed, 5I has been amended. And then the changes made to the consent agenda is, we are adding item number 23. So I need a motion and a second to make those changes. Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I don't hear Lee. Lee?
Probably off again.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, I need a motion and a second to accept the minutes of the November 13th, 2020 special meeting.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. I need a motion and a second to accept the minutes of the November 17th, 2020 special meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, policy. These policies were done by NISBA, right? We took NISBA's? Okay. And we want to do these as a first reading and an adoption at the same time instead of having a second reading. Linda, do you want to give information as to why?
These are all mandated policies that are updated due to the change in regulation or in law. So these need to be adopted as soon as possible. That's why we're asking to do the first reading and the adoption of these 6 policies.
Thank you. Okay, so I need a motion and a second to adopt policy 0110, sexual harassment, 011.1, sexual harassment of students, 0110.2, sexual harassment of employees, revised policy 5420, student health services, 5500 records, and 8635, information and data privacy, security breach and notification. Motion and a second?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Wait, Eileen, it doesn't seem like there was any changes to any of those, right?
There were updates that were mandated by law. I didn't really notice any changes, right? It was like little things.
Yeah, I looked through it quickly. I didn't see anything of anything.
Yeah, it was a little tiny thing. I don't even think there was major changes, right?
Some of them are new policies, and then some
Oh.
of them are just updated as per regulation and the law that has changed. So those changes were made by NISBA. We took all NISBA verbiage except for one piece that we changed, and our legal counsel said that we were fine in changing that.
Okay. All right, and then I need a call for,
I
Yes.
need to just sit in to
yes, Lee and I sat in there. Yes, Lee and I sat in it.
I thank you.
Okay. I need a motion and a second to accept the following policies for a first reading. Revised policy 8130, school safety plans and teams. new policy 8131, which is pandemic planning, and new policy 4765, online distance and remote learning.
Eileen, I hate to interrupt you, but I don't think you actually voted on that last group. You had a motion and a second on the table, and then Mylan asked a question, so I don't know if you got an all in favor. I may be wrong, though.
No, I did get an all in favor for the first group.
You did?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I need an all in favor for that first group then?
Aye.
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 And now for the second group,
Aye.
I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There was also another one that was regulations and exhibits, and they were on the agenda for the board's information only. There was no motion that we needed to do on that one. There's more though, I'm sorry, on number 2. Sorry, there's 8635R, 8635E, 011. Oh, those are the regular ones. We already did that one then. Oh, the regulations, right, and we don't do any voting on that. Because that's regulations, okay. I need to have a motion and a second to suspend the business meeting and go into the audit committee meeting.
Motion?
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are now in the audit committee meeting. I need a motion and a second to call the audit committee meeting to order.
Motion.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I need a motion and a second to accept the corrective action plan for the 2019-20 independent audit.
Motion.
Motion?
Second.
Before we do that, I did have a question on that plan. There was the first item said that they had asked us for 2 years. Hold on, let me just find the plan first. Audit committee. Policies, hold on. A million policies. Here we go. The corrective action planning. There was a corrective action plan that actually was called the District's Disaster Recovery Plan. And it says here that in the district's response that we finalized that. The district's disaster recovery plan.
We did finalize it, and then the director of technology is no longer here, so we are working to make sure that we can get that approved.
So then it's not
This year.
really finalized or it's being revised again?
Yeah, revised.
Okay, can I see that plan, please?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have on that. So all in favor? Or does anybody else have questions? No? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion and a second to adjourn the audit committee meeting.
Motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. And I need a motion and a second to resume the business meeting.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Schedule 1 as amended, recommended action personnel matters. Schedule 1, was it schedule 1 or 2 that was amended?
I need
Okay.
one call for a separate vote.
Oh, schedule 1, yeah, where's the schedule 1?
You know which one I want vote?
No,
Is it for,
hold on, I'm getting the page.
you want me to discuss?
Yep. Hold on, checking account. How come I don't have the?
Things we tabled, already tabled, or do we have to do that?
No, we're gonna do that now. So I want to go to schedule 1. How come I don't have the schedules? Yeah, I don't have it. Oh, no? Business meeting audit committee? No, I'm in the,
Is it, I know, but it's in the actual agenda. Is it,
I don't have that paper. Okay,
is it that? Is that person?
ask Mark, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, can I just see that really fast, Jess? 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't have one.
It's in the blue folder.
Yeah, I know.
Another copy of the blue folder. It's the actual agenda.
I know, I took it out and I don't know where it is.
That would be my copy of this.
Yeah,
Correct. It's on page 9.
can I just see yours really fast? Schedule 1?
Yeah, so it's schedule 1, item
Yeah, I just want to see them really fast. I'll look on the list.
4.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Schedule 1, Item 4J, we're pulling for a separate vote. I don't think there was any other ones.
No, which one are you talking about? We have four, I have, I don't know if it's Schedule 2.
No, Schedule 1 we're on, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yes, that's the only one for Schedule 1,
okay.
and then the Schedule 2. Do we, you already removed this one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And here,
Okay,
and this one for Jackie.
that's already removed.
That's what I wanted to know.
That one's already removed, yes, Jackie. Okay, so we're gonna pull that one for a separate vote. So I need, a motion and a second. No, I already did the motion and second. Oh, okay, I need a motion and a second to approve personnel matters on Schedule 1, resignations, terminations, leaves of absences, except for item 4J. And we're pulling that for a separate vote. So motion and a second to accept those.
Motion.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Separate vote, we'll do that now, is Schedule 1, resignations, terminations, leaves of absence, number 4J. I need a motion and a second to accept that. Right? We already should have. Oh, right, so are we removing or tabling? We're voting on that one. So I need an all in favor on that one or a vote on that one. I need a vote on 4J, because we already did the motion second. I need a vote.
I'm a no.
So no, Jackie?
I want to go with the same as with that, but I want to add to it with the
Be careful.
not here now, but I'm saying I want to add to it the alternative that Mylene discussed.
Can we do it that way?
I know what you're saying, but I don't know if it can even be done.
No,
So if you want to amend that would be amending the vote, and you're not, the agenda, the resolution is as it's presented. So, if you want to do something else, you'd have to go back into executive session, have that discussion, and kind of move forward.
Can we table that one for
Yeah.
this meeting?
You can table it, absolutely, you can make a motion to table.
I would vote the table and then figure out what we.
Figure out what you want to do?
but we need to make that.
So whoever made the original,
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that.
So wait,
Okay.
wait, so it looks like me and Jackie are on the same page. Where are you, Eileen, Mark, and Lee on this?
We,
I'm not sure what they're talking about.
4J,
Okay, that's what I'm saying, yes.
Lee, 4J.
We'll go to a place.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Your microphone's on. Okay, so are we tabling it or we,
Wait, give me 1 second. Schedule 1, right?
Schedule 1, terminations, resignations, 4J.
I'm gonna go with Jackie and Mylan.
So now,
What are you gonna say?
you
Jackie,
so,
Mylan?
Yeah, thanks, Lee. Yes,
I think that would be the best way to go.
so we have to table it then.
I'm going with what they do.
so it's already on the
Yeah.
table, so.
It's as I discussed in executive session.
I don't remember what that was.
So you want to withdraw, somebody needs to withdraw their, placing this on for consideration. So I don't know who made the original first. So Mark, would you be interested in withdrawing your
Separate vote?
vote for this to be on the table? So that so it can be withdrawn essentially, and then you make a motion to table this?
Okay, yeah, so you want to do that, Mark?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
We're tabling it or we're voting for it?
We're
We're
tabling it.
tabling it. So somebody needs to make a motion to table it.
I'll make a motion, table it.
Okay. All in favor? I need a second. Wait, I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's tabled. All right, schedule,
Eileen,
yes.
are we going to go back into exec session
Yeah.
at the end of this meeting and then just to, adhere to the recommendation I made?
If you guys finish before 10 o'clock, I'll go back into executive session.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Otherwise, we can do it at the next meeting. I need a motion and a second to,
Wait, we do that to the next meeting, we'll have to confer with Reza if that's even possible.
That was my point. Let's just see if, what.
let's see what time we get done now.
All right.
If
I
everybody,
think that needs to be rectified today.
Me too.
You'll be fast.
okay.
You're outvoted, Eileen.
You don't need me here for it. You got 4 years. All right. Recommended action, personnel matters, schedule 2, as amended. Appointments, tenure, salary changes. I need a motion and a second to approve.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
Jackie seconds.
Eileen, what was the amendment on that one?
We approved, we had removed item 1B.
And you
All right, just,
amended 5, I gave you two.
And we amended 5I.
so. What are we doing with the B?
We tabled it.
We removed it right now. We removed it from the agenda.
Okay, and what was the other one?
5I. That's the clubs.
Well, that we have to vote in tonight.
That's amended. We amended that, yes. Yes, that's amended, yes.
I didn't hear the amendment. I don't know when you amended it.
You were on your way here from your house, I guess.
Oh, can you tell me what the amendments are?
Not here.
They added back a club.
We added back a club, yes, and the advisors.
Yeah, 2 advisors and the club.
We had 2 advisors and the club back to the agenda,
Nothing.
Okay, great,
okay?
thank you.
Okay. Thank you. That was a better way of saying it, Linda. So, I need a motion and a second. Oh, we do, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Whew, that was a rough one. All right. I need a motion and a second to approve the financial items 2 through 5. See, now I need to. Where's my full agenda?
A motion.
Okay, I got it. I need a second. I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. That was the, okay, consent agenda we're up to now, right?
It's 2 to 23.
Okay, I need a motion and a second to now approve items 2 through 23.
Motion?
Second.
Well, I need for discussion first. Anyone has any discussion on these items?
I'm trying to figure out.
Well, don't you have to motion it first, then you
We
discuss?
got a motion and a second. Now I'm asking for discussion.
Which one is this?
I have a
Financial matters?
question.
J, consent agenda.
Yeah, on the consent agenda, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So Linda, I noticed that we are putting in the swimming pool, a platform and diving board at $232,000.
Yes, good answer, good question.
It led me to my next question on that matter. Are we at any point of doing our open swim to the community? Where are we on that?
Yeah, well, we didn't yet.
I thought that was something that was under discussion with the current person who is is our swim coach, and I would have to check exactly where we are with having the open swim. This is a replacement for the starting blocks and the diving board for our swim team and our physical education classes.
Okay, I understand that. So it's leading me to my next question because it all kind of goes together. How are we letting kids from ISUP swim when you can't have middle schoolers go to the high school to practice? Or we have kids from another district swimming with ours? Plus, this leads to less spots for kids in our district. Due to COVID, there are even fewer activities, so that's important. That was a question that a parent had sent to me.
Are we talking about the swim team or are we talking about the swim club?
It looks like the swim team.
So for the entire time, I think that I've been here, the board has approved a team that involves swimmers from Islip. That's something that we've done. The board is put in front of the board every year to ask Section 11 to put two teams together and combine the teams. I know that, I think it was this board last year was looking at changing that practice, and the community came out en masse and asked for it to stay the same because those kids have been swimming together for a long time. But that is something that every year we ask the board to approve that as part of the Section 11 competition teams.
No, I understand that piece of it, Linda, but now that we have COVID and we're trying to limit as many people in our building, our children, are they getting first priority? That's really where this question is leading to. We are limiting anybody that's in our buildings. We're trying to be very careful about that.
Mhm.
Are we allowing our children first before we allow other children to take advantage of that opportunity?
So right now it's off-season workouts. So anyone from our district who wanted to be there could certainly be there.
Okay, so are we allowing outsiders to, more so than our own kids?
I would not, there's no team right now, so this is an off-season workout, so I don't have a different answer than the answer I had before, which
Are
is
children in the off-season workouts that are not in our district using the pool?
probably because we do have a team together with Islip. East Islip, I'm sorry, East Islip.
Question is going back to what I said. Are our children getting first priority because we are limiting seats or limiting capacity in our building? I'm assuming that would be working for the pool. So maybe, and I'm just giving you numbers, I don't know, so maybe we allowed 50 of our kids last year pre-COVID because there was no COVID. Now we maybe allowed 25 kids. I mean, how many kids are we allowing to participate in our swim team workouts?
But are you talking about, I'm a little confused, Mylan. Are you talking about,
I'm talking about the swim team workouts.
okay, the swim
Right, yeah.
team workouts?
Yeah.
I would assume that,
No.
I know
21.
I said when we approved it because we make them look better, they make us look better, so we kept them and they worked together for so many years and they completed their case many times over.
No, I'm not arguing that piece. I was never against that piece. But now that we are in COVID times, I just want to make sure that our children are getting every opportunity to use this pool.
So Mylin, I think what you're saying is this. Lee, hold on one second. Mylin, I think what you're saying is this. If we are only allowing 20 kids in at this time in that pool area, is it 20 ConnectWalk kids or are there 20 ConnectWalk kids online, but the East Islip kids got there first and now our 20 ConnectWalk kids can't go in the building? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I just want to see that our kids are getting preferential treatment in this particular case.
Right.
Because, I know there might be limited capacity, limited time slots. So I know there's COVID restrictions. I just want to make sure that our children are a priority.
Oh, I think, yeah, probably somebody'd have to ask the coach.
We will get you that information, Marlon. That information I can get from the coach and from our athletic director.
Okay, I'm not trying to be difficult. I just want to make sure that our kids have an opportunity because I know there's limited time, limited space.
Right.
Completely agree. It's our facility. Our kids should take priority, but I just need to be able to get that information for you.
Okay, please do. Thank you.
Is this something the kids pay for? This is done by the school. Is this,
The off-season workouts are free. It's just as if it was, the football team's doing off-season, the baseball team's doing off-season, the softball team, the swim team is doing
That's not
them
the
as
club.
well.
That's not the club.
And Linda, you'll get us the information when we're gonna have open swim for the community?
Yes, I will.
Are there any other questions on the consent agenda?
No, that's all I have. Thank you, Eileen.
Okay, I have one. Linda, what is the ESSA accountability for the plan for Cherokee Elementary and Oakdale Bohemian Middle School?
So as part of our Title I requirement through the ESSA, New York State expects that 95% of our students participate in both the 3 through 8 ELA assessment and the 3 through 8 math assessment.
Was that the thing I wouldn't sign? Okay.
So, because
I'm opt out.
our participation rates are below 95%, and our overall participation is very low, it affected some of the levels, which required us to put a participation rate improvement plan into place.
Okay, so I need to pull that for a separate vote. Sorry, Dean.
It's a requirement from the Title I.
It's okay, I'm sure it's gonna go through, but I have to vote no.
Understood.
Okay,
I just want to reiterate that this is something we need to do in order to access the
I
Title I
understand that,
funds.
Linda,
No, I just want
I do.
everybody to know.
and I know it's going through. I'm just an opt-out parent, and I'm not, I just can't vote yes for that, sorry. All right, so that's a separate vote. Okay, there is, anybody have anything, what's this, independent medical?
I do want to draw your attention to something because we're not doing a discussion till after the fact. When the board originally talked about giving permits to our outside organizations, we said through November. And St. Joseph CYO Soccer has asked for permits in December. So they're actually on the agenda for that specific facilities use exception because the original determination by the board was through November. So because we're having a discussion after the fact, I just wanted it known that that's what this is on there for.
That was my second question, to see what that was, so, okay. And is that during times that we're in school?
It's weekends.
And we approve them through November on the weekends, correct?
I read it, it's like, are you sure it's not like some kind of like little camp or something?
It's outside and I could have sworn it was weekends, but I don't have it in front of me.
I actually have it. Oh my God. I thought it said that it was just right here. I thought it said, let's just see real fast. I thought it said. Let's see. To me, it looked like it was just for.
What's this one?
I know it's up here, it says dates requested. 12, December 5th, 6th.
I'm gonna go ask Rosa.
19, 20, 26, 27.
Yeah, weekends.
Kids aren't in school, it's just for the month of December.
Okay.
10 to 4.
Hold on one second.
It's weekends.
I'm all right with that. Kids playing soccer outside, that's the information. Those are little guys.
This is in the. I'm gonna say okay.
What?
I'm gonna say okay on that. Yeah. Okay, so you got the one I'm pulling for the separate vote? Okay. No, that's the other thing. We already did that. Okay. No, not on that one. And all the grievances I'd like to pull for a separate vote.
Okay, so 14 through 19.
Yes. Okay, and that's it, okay. So we need to vote on items 1, no, not 1,
2 through 10,
2 through 10,
12 and 13,
12 and 13,
and then 20 to 23.
and then 20 to 23.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now the pulled ones. Number 11. I need a vote on that, on number 11. A motion in a second. No, I don't need to do a motion in a second again, right?
A motion and second to.
Okay, a motion and a second for number 11. Motion,
Second.
okay, I need it all in favor,
Wait, Eileen, I'm actually looking at this.
number 11. Okay. My vote is no. Jackie, that's opt out one.
Eileen, can you just, can we talk about this in a little bit?
That was the discussion part, Mylene. That was the one that's the opt-out form. we have to do it by law, but I'm gonna opt up here and I'm gonna say no.
Okay, no, I just dropped myself, I just,
We let Dean talk just for a minute, because I wanted to see what he had to say.
okay, no, I saw something, okay.
That's Dean. I'm sorry, Mylene, I just want to get what Dean had to say.
That's fine. So we're required again with, because we fall below the 95% participation rate for our ELA and math assessments in grades 3 through 8. So if you look at the forms that we're submitting and the plan that we're submitting, you can see the plan that we put into place to increase that participation. So I'm urging the board members to look at that language. So I think that it's something that everybody could support.
It's not terrible language, it's just my own personal conviction, so. Yeah.
Well, Eileen, the way I'm reading it, it says it right here, parents continue to choose to opt out for the children out of the test, we notify you and encourage them to participate. Parents have communicated they do not think the test is developmentally appropriate, and it does not provide immediate feedback to the instruction.
No, Mylene, I read it, I read it, I actually looked it over quite extensively and I gave it to Mark to sign, because I won't sign it.
My
That's
issue,
fine.
my issue is that we have so many tests that are not the state tests aren't being taken. There's a lot of things that are being held off, or they're being canceled altogether. So why would we do this year, if this year maybe isn't the year for this kind of stuff?
They have to,
Especially, no, I understand, but with COVID, I think we should limit, if the state's limiting testing, I don't think we should add testing.
We're not adding testing. This is not about adding testing. This is about kids participating in the assessments if they're offered by New York State. So last year, we don't. But if they're not offered, we're not required to do anything. So we're not,
Yeah.
Like how the regions right now,
Right.
this could be canceled too.
regions
Yes.
haven't been canceled,
I thought it's January.
just January regions, yes. Okay. Yeah.
January is canceled, and so I'm saying, this could potentially be canceled, even if we go forward.
Correct.
Right,
Okay. That's what
all right, so number 11, I'm a no.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
I mean, yes,
I'm gonna be a no.
Okay, motion carries. What's the next one? Oh, all grievances now, right? All right. Number 14, we'll do each one separately. This one doesn't have the names on it. You're not gonna read each one?
Is this the CTA Google? Is that 14?
Wait, did we do 12 and 13?
Yeah, that, we already did that for the main thing. Number 14. Okay, I need a vote on number 14. I need a motion and a second for number 14.
Motion?
Second.
Okay, I need a vote. I'm a no.
I'm a yes.
Mylene?
I am going to abstain.
Okay, Jackie?
Peyton, is this the one that needed board support on for kids?
No?
Dean, are you with us?
Yes, I'm not sure of the question.
I'm confused because this one.
This the one you asked for board support because you think it's good?
This is about supervision, electronic supervision.
Oh, then I'm reading the wrong one. I'm sorry, this one could have went through the old one.
Yes.
I'm a yes.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. Number 14, I'm a yes on this one.
I'm a yes also, that's why you confused me.
Sorry, I apologize, yes.
All right, I'm a yes on this one.
Okay.
Checking the, okay, the motion carries. And I'm gonna read this one now.
Which one we on?
Number 15, this is not the one, I didn't want to pull this one either. I know. I'm a yes on this one.
I'm a yes for number 15.
I need a motion and a second for number 15. Where's the one I want to pull?
Motion,
Motion.
Second,
all in favor?
All in favor? Aye.
aye,
Hold on.
number 16.
I gotta read it now. Is that the one? No, that one. Hold on. I think this is the only one I want to hold on. No, that's not it. Okay, so number 18 is the only one I want to pull as a separate vote. So can we do all the grievances but number 18?
Fine, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I need a motion and second for all the grievances except number 18.
Motion.
16, 17, and 19, yes.
Motion.
All in favor?
Motion. I need a second. I need a second.
Second.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Number 18, this is the one. Okay, I need a motion and a second.
This is a problem.
Second,
Nobody motioned.
motion.
Okay, I'll second. I need a vote on this one. I'm going to say no. Right.
Oh, I'm gonna say yes. The rest of you are gonna probably say no. I think the kids did this one. The adults did not make the survey, the kids made the survey.
Number 18.
Okay, the problem I have with that one is the way it went out.
It's the
It didn't go out from the kids. It went
survey.
out from
Kids
admin.
wrote this- No, but the kids wrote the survey. The kids wrote the
Another-
survey.
Lee, the survey did not go out by children. The survey went out from the administration's office. That was the issue.
It doesn't, we already had time for discussion. This is now voting. So Jackie, you say no.
I'm no on that one.
I'm reading it, go to the next one.
Okay, I say no. Mylin?
I'm abstaining. I don't have a problem with the kids. It was something else that I just had a concern about.
Okay. Lay?
Yes,
Right now, it looks like the motion fails anyway.
No, I'm a no.
Oh, you're a no, okay. So that grievance is not approved. Well, not denied, I mean. Okay. That's it on-
Lisa, can we go into exec quickly to just explain what just happened?
Yes.
Because I'm not sure that the board might understand what just happened by rejecting that.
Okay. So it'd be up to the board if they want to go into exec
Okay.
session.
I would like to finish the rest of the business
Okay.
Go back.
and then go into the executive session.
That's fine. I think we need deeper explanation.
Voted one, that's it.
Okay. We have some new business discussion items. Bridget, you're up. Budget guidelines. Jackie.
So the budget guidelines have existed for plenty of years. The only difference this time right now is that there are 2 sentences added on page 2 under other considerations and instructional staffing. Obviously, as you are all aware, COVID-19 has shifted a lot of things educationally for us. So the first change is explaining that in light of uncertainty with state aid and federal external funding sources, all considerations may require additional adjustments as information becomes available through the New York State Education Department. And further on that page, another change is effective December 2020 due to social distancing requirements with the COVID-19 pandemic. The reopening plan enacted in August 2020 will remain as the instructional staffing guideline unless otherwise changed by executive order or other mandates. And that is to allow us to have some flexibility since we don't know what the remainder of this year looks like. And we certainly can't quite forecast or project accurately, at least staffing level and class sizes.
I do have a question for the budget guidelines. I said it last year, I let the budget go through. We're doing line by line, not a rollover, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, line by line, I'm gonna be looking for it.
It's gonna be a very big binder, Eileen. A
Okay.
very big binder.
I'm okay with that, I have
Probably
3 years of it already. So, this will be the 4th year that I'm doing line by line. It's okay. All right. Next thing on the, is there anything else, Bridget? Any questions for Bridget? All right,
So I'm going to suggest that if there's any edits that the board wants to make, we would like to adopt this at the first meeting in January. This was just a reading for you guys to take a look at it. But we would like to adopt it in the first meeting in January.
adopt the budget?
No, the guidelines.
Oh, the guidelines, okay. Who brought up facility use by organizations?
That was me, but
Okay,
you've already voted on it.
okay. Oh, that was one of the things, okay. I thought we were changing that, so we had the different consent things, that's okay. Policy, oh, Jackie, this is the thing, policy 4710, the grading systems. And this is what you wanted, the attendance and credit policy?
I had sent an email to the board, in regards to the attendance and credit. That was the seat time. I would like to know whatever came of that. I don't think that, this year, especially with COVID, with, kids being at home, I think it should be suspended. And I want to see, what does everyone else think of that? Because I do think that we're gonna have an issue. We would rather, obviously, kids stay home if they don't feel well. But if a child doesn't get online the first 5 or 10 minutes and is marked absent, if this affects mostly more so the seniors, we don't want to hold people back because of that. At least not this year.
So what do you want to do, Jackie, exactly?
I want to suspend it. It was done, it's been done before. I want to suspend it for this year.
What do you say, unlimited absence?
No, nothing like that. You have to have a reason, but I don't want it to be that if somebody misses 1 or 2 extra classes, that's the reason that they failed this year.
I mean, partially the blame is, not all kids have all their devices still. But that, you're right.
I wrote that in the email, that we have
Yes.
kids that are working off of cell phones. I don't want, because a kid doesn't have, for instance, and you know why I brought this up. For instance, if your Wi-Fi goes down in the house, I told you guys all that, I had that issue. I'm lucky because I live next door to my parents and could just walk next door to get Wi-Fi. But what about the child that can't do that? What about the kid who loses Wi-Fi for the day and now loses the class for the day? Is it really fair to them if we go full remote?
But is he marked for an absence?
They are marked absent. Yes, my child was marked absent. You are marked absent until your parent calls you in.
So my suggestion is, because
Why do we monitor?
we legally have to have an attendance policy. It's actually regulation 104.1 from the New York State Education Department under Student Support Services. And one of the things that we need to do as an objective in attendance policy is to confirm that students are meeting compulsory attendance requirements. So I did ask Mr. Moran if he might be here today to explain tenets of this policy. But if the board would like to send this policy to the high school to look at it for some amendments for this year, the idea of getting rid of it, Mark, makes my hair curl even more than normal, that, because we can't have unlimited absences. No, I know, and I know that.
My thing is this, we can't have just one person this year working on attendance. We
What
really
happened to
need to
grade
have,
level? Each grade
no,
level
we
was their
we
attendance.
really need to go back to how it was years ago when you have something like this going on, because maybe if I'm and I'm gonna use admin, maybe if I'm the administrator of of the 10th grade or 11th grade or 12th grade, maybe I know that student and their situation better than maybe the 10th grade administrator if it's a 12th grader. I just think that it should be, everybody has their administrator and that's who looks into the attendance. I don't think one person should have all the attendance, not this year, because we do have a lot of absences.
It's the attendance
We have a
and the
lot of
credit
issues
policy.
with Wi-Fi. Everybody should be responsible for their grade level. Especially in a year like
You
this.
also have the credit policy that would be affected too. I mean, with these kids. So I think that should be. No, the attendance policy could have amendments, but I think the credit policy should be suspended. That's not,
So part of the grading systems policy is an attendance policy. Because it has the tie of course credit to the amount of times a child can be absent, it serves part of a dual need of making sure that students are meeting that compulsory attendance requirement.
Linda,
So-
I can tell you this right now, you know that my daughter was in one of those meetings?
Yeah.
If any kids come to this meeting to protest their, that they can't get a credit because of their attendance, because of COVID this year, I'm never gonna say no to a kid to not get the credit for that class.
Don't you want to hear the circumstances?
So I think that what I'm
Mostly, yeah.
suggesting to the board is that the policy was a discussion between the administrators and the teaching staff at the high school. And I think it should be, in this year, should be looked at for certain amendments that would be in this hybrid situation that we're living in right now. So I'm gonna suggest to the board not to suspend it, but to ask the high school to come up with some amendments just for this year in the COVID world. And if, I think that would be appropriate for the teachers and the administrative staff to get together and already see if there's patterns that have been established that could help kids make sure that they're going to meet the needs of the graduation requirements. But if they could give us some feedback for the January meeting on some amendments that they would make for this year specifically, I think that would be an appropriate request.
Good for me.
My concern is that, there's somebody keeping in daily contact with these kids. So if you don't hear from Johnny today, and the child has difficulty signing into the virtual day, is there somebody keeping track of Johnny if he doesn't show up the second or third day for like a virtual? I just wanna make sure these kids are still engaged on the virtual end of things too. But if they don't have the technology or the Wi-Fi to keep engaged, what are we doing to make sure that happens? Which leads me to my question to you, Dean. When does the kids getting the Chromebooks?
So, I'll answer that. I think we should just resolve this point first, and then I can definitely answer the Chromebook question.
So can I just have the authority to ask the high school to take a look at this and give us some COVID suggestions for this year?
Absolutely.
I want them by the January meeting though.
Okay, you guys hear your
Please.
marching orders. Okay, thank you.
So,
I'm just dragging out until like May.
we received an email from the vendor. We've been in communication with the vendor, obviously, and we were able to have them put something in writing for us. Like I had shared last time with the board, I'll send this home as well this evening. So what we're anticipating from the vendor is that they are receiving 2,300 units, 23,000 units between now and mid-January. And if those numbers hold true, our order should be fulfilled within that. So we are cautiously excited that hopefully by January, the end of January, we'll be having our Chromebooks.
So the kids that were having difficulty on the virtual days, is there communication among these kids? Or are they missing for quite a while? Like, I just want to make sure that these kids are engaged somehow and that there's somebody keeping an eye on these kids. I definitely understand Jackie's point. We don't want to penalize kids if they don't have the technology for the virtual days. I would never want to do that. I don't want to penalize those kids. I just want to make sure that there's constant,
You can scratch it.
yeah.
So I'll just.
contact with these children.
Yes, and I'll make sure that the high school incorporates that into what they submit to the board in January about their plan. Just want to follow up on one other item. We did receive the 350 Chromebooks from that emergency purchase that the board had approved. And as per your suggestion, Ms. August, we are going off our free and reduced lunch population list to make sure that the students who are the most neediest are the ones who are getting those devices.
Yes, that's the one. I greatly appreciate that because I believe those are the children should get priority, and then you obviously can work off your list, from that point on. But thank you for addressing that, Jane, because I think that's important.
Can I ask you what's going on with the few thousand we ordered? Do we have any idea? I mean, they were supposed to be in September,
that's-
October.
That's the ones I just read.
No, I understand that, but what are they, have you called up? They're not, when are we gonna actually be able to give those to kids?
So they're saying to us that we should have them by late January.
Will we be able to guarantee that the kids have them by February 1st?
We are going to work extremely hard to make sure that they're in kids' hands as quick as possible.
That's what I wanna know. I mean,
Okay, the fourth item, and I think this was put on by Mrs. Napolitano-Ferno, but I'm gonna steal a little bit of her thunder.
Wait, hold on one second, Linda. I want to go back to this policy thing for 1 second.
With the Wonderland.
Wait 1 second. And the Chromebooks and all that. With the policy, we have how many meetings in January?
2.
2. Okay, and I just want to go with what Mylin said. I got a call from a few teachers who, you know, they have to mark them absent, or they're marking them absent because the kid's muted or the camera's not turned on. And then the teachers are telling me they were actually felt bad that they marked them absent because the kid told them the next day the cameras off because the mother was in a mood and throwing wine around the house. That's just an example. It's not really the truth. That's not one of the scenarios. But I mean, these things happen. We've heard stories that you don't realize that the cameras are on, and a dog goes. Mylin's on Zoom now. The dog is barking in the background. Something. I know that wasn't your dog, Mylin. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they're muted and their camera's not on because maybe there's some problems in their home, which is another reason I want you to make sure that you think about when you address the attendance and credit policies. Okay? All right. Now you can go to Jackie's Winter Spectacular.
Not mine, it's the school and the student government.
It's that and
And,
PTA.
and I really do want to thank, though, the PTA in the high school has really stepped it up.
Kim Trink is
I'm gonna say,
amazing, yeah.
I am shouting out to Kim Trink and John Tedeschi.
all right.
Tonight especially, I was with
I'll
them
give him
for-
that shout out.
I was with them for a few hours, but really, they are really helping. They are really going above and beyond. There are other people, Patty, Sue, and I'm sure there's a slew of others. Mr. Moran was there helping, Mr. Sitman, Mrs. Locks, Miss Goodwin. They all have really stepped up, and I just want to say thank you, but especially to Kim and John. I really, really appreciate it. John and Grounds, thank you. And security, thank you. I
And I'm
can't
sure the
wait to
community-
see Friday.
Yeah, I can't. That's going to be amazing.
So I'm just going to put a caveat to that. The times were changed. It's now
Yes.
after dark. So it's,
Oh, yeah.
it's from 5 to 8 p.m. At the high
Didn't you guys
school.
have it at 3:30? I was like, how are they going to see the lights? Who's Moran? 3:30? It's not dark that early yet. Oh, we fixed it. Okay. All right. I know I look at the window and I'm like, oh, it's midnight already. And then I realize it's only 4:30.
No.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
I know.
Very nice to give the kids something to look forward
I
to.
can't wait to see. Well, I'd like to see their faces, but you can't.
Even if it's a big kid, I can't wait.
All right. There are other items. I have one other item. I don't know if anybody else does. We get notifications about the COVID all the time. You know, which school had something, student or staff is all we get. I'm hearing though that there is a code put on and students' identities are being leaked out, staff's identities are being leaked out. That's a FERPA and a HIPAA thing, and I want those codes removed. There's no reason that we need to even point that out if you're giving it to Suffolk County Department of Health tracing. That shouldn't be available to anybody else in the district except for the administrators.
I don't know what code you're talking about.
There's I'll give you the exact verbiage
Mhm.
later.
Okay.
But there's a code on lists of names, and people are they know. I mean, it gets around anyway, so we don't need to actually point it out to them. So that has to be removed. We have to fix that leak. That's FERPA and HIPAA, and we don't need that nonsense.
Yeah. In whose correspondence is the code? Because this is the
Okay.
first we're hearing of this.
I will talk about that in the executive. I'm
Okay.
not going to talk about that here.
Thank you.
But I just wanted to mention that leaks have to stop. We can't let children's staff. Those names shouldn't be out there. I shouldn't know who has it and who doesn't have it unless I'm being contacted for contact tracing. Okay.
Department of Health is supposed to be
Right.
doing that anyway.
Right.
That's not really for,
Right. So, and, yeah, it's not, I mean, I know too many people. Okay. Does anybody have any other items for new business?
I do.
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I do.
Mylene?
Wait,
Mylene,
I wanna ask one question.
No, Mylene first.
Well, I told you about Honor Society. I just wanna ask.
Oh, all right.
That's it.
Mylene, could Jackie step on your toes?
Can I just ask one thing before I forget? Cause I've been
She
trying
says
to.
one thing, but it's like 10
Just
hours
the
before.
National Honor Society. Are we gonna have the inductions or they didn't?
Oh.
That was like a question one of the parents had asked me and I don't have the answer because I thought it was already being done. So it was just that the National Honor Society, as of today, they haven't been inducted any new members and they haven't sent down any congratulations letters. So does anyone know what's going on with that? That's my only thing. Is there a reason why it took so long? I mean, we approved it months ago. Okay, so before the end of the week, they'll be out and that they'll have it. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mylene, you're up.
Thanks, Mylene.
Okay, so Linda, this is a task for you, and I'm hoping to get board support. There is just pulling it up right now, there is a bill, A11179. And the bill requires a COVID-19 vaccine to be administered in accordance with the Department of Health's COVID-19 vaccination administration program and mandates vaccines in certain situations. Linda, I think when we had asked you last year, probably around this time, if you could put a resolution together in regards to the HPV. And if you remember, it was very well respected, and that the other districts actually took either your resolution or major parts of your resolution and shared it. So I'm asking for board support and for Linda to take on this task. I am not saying that I am for or against the vaccine. What I am saying is I am fighting for parents' choice. I don't believe there should be a mandate. There should be an informed decision among family for their child or for themselves. This is not a debate on the vaccine. This is only that I require that we do not be part of a mandate. I don't want a mandate. So I'm just asking for board support.
Mylene, you have my support on that. I don't believe in those
Mylene, you have my support. I believe in parental choice, always.
always. So that's 3.
We have a unanimous board, or is just the 3 of us?
Mark?
No, I'm
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine also. The only thing is, what about situations where there aren't parents who are in different situations?
There's always a guardian.
Well, that's-
Underage, yeah, minors.
Yeah, they always have a guardian.
So we're gonna go to their guardian.
So
Yeah.
Lisa, can you?
A legal
Lisa,
guardian,
can
yeah.
you- Lisa, can you help Linda, write and draft something for the board to sign?
we can certainly look into it. I'm looking at the legislation now. It's very broad, so I don't even see, I don't see the relationship to schools yet.
Well, Linda, didn't you say that you wanted to look into testing 20% of the people?
that's my discussion after Mylan's.
Okay. So that's where Mylene comes from, because you mentioned that earlier.
I just want to get ahead of things before this rolls along a little too quickly. I just want board support, and I just want something where the Connecticut Board of Education stands on a mandate on the a vaccine.
Vaccine. Oh, okay.
I'll talk with Linda after,
All
we'll
right.
talk during the week.
And I'm also gonna, okay, so Linda, you're gonna go back to the testing now. I'm before it, because I have to run to the ladies' room again, I'm sorry. But I'm gonna say the same thing about this mandatory testing that you wanna do. That has to be done with parental consent too. I'm gonna advocate for that. Okay. All right, go ahead, Linda, you're up.
Okay, so on November 30th, the guidance has changed. So as I said at the last board meeting, every minute it seems like things are changing from the state, from Governor Cuomo, from the Department of Health. And at the last board meeting, we spoke about the potential of school districts, including ours, being put into a micro cluster zone. We are still not in a microcluster zone. We have not been identified. However, multiple districts on Long Island have been identified as cluster zones. And it seems that the governor and our local legislators as well are really lauding the work that the districts have done in making schools a safe place for kids and adults to be, and not spreading the virus while they're there. So at the last board meeting, I gave what the mandate was in order to remain open in the different zones. And yellow was the only zone that you could remain open while students, faculty, and staff were tested. In orange and red at that time needed to be closed when that designation occurred. So I'm going to say once again, we are not in a designated zone. However, as of November 30th, there is new requirements for testing in order to remain open. In the yellow zone, that has not changed. In order to remain open, the school district would need to test 20% of their students, faculty, and staff in the first 2 weeks that the school has been designated as a yellow zone. If during that testing, the school district can demonstrate that they are lower in their 7-day rolling average than the surrounding area, the school district would remain open indefinitely with no changes needed. This has occurred already in 4 school districts on Long Island. Hampton Bays and Riverhead were designated first. East Hampton and Copiague were designated this prior week. And I'm not telling tales out of school, but East Islip will potentially be designated within the next few days. And the reason that we know this is because the Suffolk County Department of Health actually calls the school district prior to the designation to let them know that they are getting close. And in doing so, they can actually assist the school district in putting in place testing for the 20% in order to remain in person educationally. So what has happened is the Suffolk County Department of Health procures the tests. They are rapid tests. They're called the Binax Now, BINAX, capital NOW. They are a very lightly invasive test. It's not the test that feels like it's going all the way up into your brain. It basically is inserting the swipe about an inch into each nostril and swiping a couple times. 15 minutes later, that is red. There is no additional equipment needed. It's actually just a reagent that gets put on the tip of the probe, and you will know within 15 minutes whether you are positive or negative. So far, I believe it was East Hampton was starting to test today, and they had absolutely no positives. I think Copiague had one positive, and this was information that came out of Ballone's discussion today. So in order to remain in person, you need to test 20% in the first 2 weeks. So what we will be doing, even though we have not been designated, nor have I been told by the Suffolk County Department of Health that we are getting close to being a yellow designation, we're going to put out a letter asking for willingness to test. That does not mean your child or yourself will be tested. It just means that you would be willing to be tested if we get to that yellow designation. If we do get to the yellow designation, we will then send out a permission slip. So you can decide at that point that you're no longer willing to have your child tested. But at that point, we would need at least 30% of our population to say they're willing to be tested so that we can randomly select 20% to be tested.
Linda, just on a light note,
Yes.
Do I have to wait 2.5 hours? Can I be tested here too?
I'm sorry, say that again?
If I volunteer to be tested, do I have to wait 2.5 hours?
No,
All right.
no, it's a very fast process, actually,
I had to lighten that up a little bit.
No, thank you. East Islip has invited myself and Mrs. Santo to go see the test, to see what the setup looks like, and we will be there on Thursday to just observe and see what we can take away from that. The Suffolk County superintendents who have already done this have been very generous in sharing the way that they've put it together, and Suffolk County Department of Health is really being unbelievably generous in the time that they're giving. The test is actually free. Your insurance does not have to cover it. You do not need insurance. And if we do get to a yellow designation, we would also be open for the community. That's one of the mandates in order to receive the free tests. So again, we will be sending out a willingness to test letter, which is only that exactly, that you at this moment would be willing to allow yourself or your child to be tested if we were to get into the yellow designation zone. If we get into an orange designation zone, we no longer have to close for 4 days. Schools can remain open the entire time, and you must test 20% of your staff each month, rolling through if you stay in orange zone for more than a month or so. Yellow zone, once you test once and you demonstrate that you're below the 7-day rolling average, we're done testing, which is very different than the last time we discussed this. The red zone, once again, changed, and the schools do not need to close for 4 calendar days to clean. You can remain open, and you once again have to test, but you only have to test 30% of the staff, students, and faculty, and that's rolling again, 30% 1 month, 30% the next month. And that's also in order to keep our kids in person education. So you will be getting an email from either myself or Mrs. Santo's office that describes this whole process again and the changes that occurred as of November 30th. And you will also be getting a link to sign up and fill out a survey of your willingness to test, which can be rescinded at any time. And if we ever get into the yellow zone from those willingness to test, we will be sending out permission slips for that testing to occur.
Linda, I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, there has been a lot of cases being reported as of late, especially after the holidays. Have you thought about closing the high school, especially with all the cases there, just through the end of holidays?
No. Because there's not as many cases as there feels like there is, and I had the numbers in front of me.
Okay, can you give us those numbers?
I did, but so Mrs. Santo, who gives us a report every day, gave me today's numbers as well. It's on my phone. Okay, hold on. I wrote it down also.
I don't want just today's numbers. I want to know like the past week or so because they have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
So I want to tell you where we are, because I think it's important. So including today, we have 15 teachers who are quarantined out of how many, Mr. Moran? 200? About 180. And 10 additional staff that are not teachers. So at this point, we're looking at a very low percentage of our teachers that are quarantined. And so we have not discussed closing the building because that's a pretty low number. We actually only had, I think, 22 total teachers absent today. So including the 15 who are quarantined, we only had about 7 more teachers who were not in for a variety of different reasons.
So when does our Christmas break start? What day?
The 24th, I believe.
Is it the 24th? Christmas Eve we're off then? That's on a Thursday?
So our winter recess starts on the 24th. That's our first day closed.
And no thoughts about even the Monday before that, just for the week, close it down, clean it out for those 3 days, and then nobody will be in the school for a week and a half?
I don't know why I would do that. If I can have in-person education.
Well, how's morale over at the high school? Can I ask him that? How's morale at the high school? Wouldn't it calm some fears? We clean the school. I'm talking 3 days.
For when are we off? From the 24th to what?
For the next week, till January 1st, Mark.
So what do you want to do? Give
The Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before that.
You want to give more days off?
Eileen, are you suggesting that they go virtual? for
Yes,
3 days?
yes. That would be a good idea. We could do that.
What about the people that the kids can't stay home?
Well, that's a problem too, yeah.
Because the problem you're gonna
Listen,
have.
there's no good answer
Listen,
right now.
there's no
This is the
perfect
way it's
answer.
been. You gotta keep it the way it's
This
been.
is the only thing you gotta understand. There are kids that mentally, they're shot from what's going on. There are.
Yeah,
There are kids that have maybe issues at home. Maybe there's substance abuse. Maybe there's a bunch of other things.
yeah.
I don't always think the best place for them is at home.
I get that. I get that for the kids.
So while my heart goes out to everybody
I
who's
know.
upset and nervous and everything, unfortunately, we all have to do what we have to do to try to stay safe. And to also, we have a job to do to take care of educating these kids. And not all of them get the education at home with remote learning. So a lot of kids that they just don't do well with that
I
kind of
know. I
learning.
get it. I don't know the answer.
So I will say that there are some school districts who are looking to keep their high schools closed after the holiday. Because what we've seen is an uptick in cases and when kids get together with each other, when they're not in school, is when they're actually contracting the disease from each other. So there are some school districts who are actually talking about closing the week after we return, only their high schools, because K through 8 being in the building, it's very important. It's really important for all kids, 9 through 12, but there were some districts who were talking about that. I didn't raise it because we didn't see a huge uptick in cases after Thanksgiving. We saw some increased, but not the way some districts did. So that if the board wants to discuss potentially keeping the high school on hybrid the week after vacation, so that if any
Oh, you mean in
cases-
January, you said?
That's what some districts are talking about, just like some districts.
Well, I mean, that's your decision, your wheelhouse. I know that, but yeah, maybe if you want to think about that and
If you
Let us
are
know.
gonna think about it, you gotta let the parents know way
Yeah.
beforehand.
You can't.
So whatever you guys are doing is fine, but if you're gonna do something, let the public know.
Yeah, we would not be closing K-8. It would be something, many of the districts are looking at closing only their high schools because of the kids being together over the breaks and maybe there be an uptick in cases. That's not something that I brought forward,
No.
but since we're having this discussion, I just wanted you to know that there are some districts who are thinking of that.
all right.
Do we know what the numbers look like after Thanksgiving? Because now would be the time, we haven't had a big uptick
No.
from that. And no, Thanksgiving is normally, the day before Thanksgiving is normally the busiest night of the year of young people, young adults.
Nowhere to go out now.
Yeah, they
You'd
closed
be
everything.
surprised,
I
you'd be
can't go out anywhere.
surprised. Now they're hanging out in people's backyards, but there's people are still hanging out. Don't think they're not.
No, I'm just saying, don't, I know what you think.
All right. On that note, that's all the discussions for the new business.
I would like to add something to that. So,
Okay. Is Lee
my
still with us?
concern is now that we're starting to sleep, Linda, are we starting to see an uptick in cases? Are we sort of, on a median line? We're on an average line of cases, or are we below, are we above average on cases? And then the other concern.
So by and large, Mylin, what we have seen is that the cases are not spreading at the high school or at the middle school or at the elementary school. The cases that we see generally map toward outside events. We're still maintaining our reopening plan with our cleaning protocols. We shut down rooms that have had positive cases in them for 24 hours, and then we clean and disinfect, and we've actually gone further than that and cleaned and disinfected twice. So 48 hours after someone has been in the room. Other than that, we're continuing to maintain the protocols that have kept us all safe this whole fall. Could it get to the point where we have a local school district can point out that there was a slumber party and another party and a couple dozen kids were contact traced and a couple dozen kids came down with positive cases? They closed the school for a few days to make sure that they could clean all the rooms safely, bring people back. We haven't had that right now. We are still, I think, for the size of the district, I think the amount of cases that we have come through positive are reasonably low in comparison with some of our neighbors. So I will not feel bad about pulling the plug if we get to the point where we have a whole bunch of cases that we need to close down. If we needed to close down 30 rooms because we had 5 kids test positive and we look at 30 rooms having to be shut down for 48 hours, we will close the building. It just makes no sense to try to relocate 30 classrooms. It couldn't happen. So we've never been there, but if there is a need, I will certainly say we're going to go fully virtual. We had a great meeting today with the leadership of the CTA and some of our academic leadership from our directors and our principals, where we discussed the practice day that we had on November 30th and got feedback, both positive and things that could potentially be changed to make it better for our kids and our teachers. So we know that fully hybrid works. Fully virtual works. We know that it worked pretty well. So I'm not.
So where is the CTA stance on these cases? Have they shared that with you?
I prefer not to speak for the CTA. They have their viewpoint. We have our viewpoint, and I prefer not to speak for the CTA.